Hello, 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 you guys. What is up? Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm DZ, and we are going to crochet today. Tunisian crochet is the special, and I'm going to be using this beautiful Red Heart Granny Square yarn. This one is called Black Neon Lights, and I really like this. I'm going to couple it with this Make Noise for Turquoise. This is you get from Hobby Lobby. And in the film, it's a little more like baby bluish than it actually really is. It's a really beautiful heather color if you are into turquoise. For the project, I chose a 7mm bamboo crochet hook, Tunisian crochet hook. You will need at least a 10-inch to do this project. Whatever size crochet hook you use, that's going to be up to you according to the yarn that you have. I will be demonstrating with a stitch marker today, and we'll be sewing in our little end with a needle if you have that. I don't demonstrate that, but obviously you're going to need that. So if you are ready to get started, go ahead and grab 2 yarns that you like, the hook that you are going to use, and your stitch marker. We're going to need an even number for this project. Also, I wanted to say one more thing. Right here, along, like when you're making your chain, make your chain tight for this particular stitch. If you make it too loose, you'll see that the stitch is tighter than the chain. And in order for you to have a nice uniform square that looks pretty even, you'll want to make sure that you do a smaller chain for your project. Not necessarily a smaller hook size, just don't make it loose. All right, so go ahead and chain whatever even number you are going to do, and I'll see you in just 1 second. Okay, so we have a chain of, I have a chain of 32. That's because at 16 chains, this is about how long it is. And I'm going to show you this just so you have the idea. So it's going to be, let's see how many inches this is. So this is 12 inches basically. So my little purse is going to be about, give or take, like 5.5 to 6 inches, because we know Tunisian crochet is a little bit snug. So get whatever even number chain you want. So if you want something that's this long, you're going to make a chain twice as long as this, as your width. That way when you go one way and this way, it's actually the size that you want your item to be. And of course you can up your hook size or down it if you don't like the result, and you should be able to tell right away. So we already have our chain, and we're just going to get all of our loops on the hook. So insert your hook into the second chain from your hook and yarn over and then pull up loops. And then go ahead and leave all of your loops on the hook. And I'll see you guys right back down here at the last loop. Now that all of our loops on our hook, we are ready for the return row. And let me get something really quick. Okay, so you're also going to need a stitch marker, which I should have already had out. But, at 3 in the morning, what do you expect? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops just before the middle stitch. We're going to stop, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. So that's 1, 2. For me, the middle stitch is number 16. So I'm going to actually stop at, once I do the 15th loop, and let's just keep going. You'll see what's going to happen here. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm at 14, I'm going to do 15, and then this would be 16. So what I'm going to do here is yarn over and pull through the next 2 stitches. So it's going to be 3 loops, but 2 stitches. just like that. And then we're gonna put a stitch marker in our our little joined loops right there. Well, they're not joined, but they're together in that one loop. So now we're just gonna close like we normally would. Okay, now I have another color I'm gonna bring in, so let me grab that. That's right here. Okay. And we're just gonna pull our new color through the last two loops. And you can change colors, however you want. That's totally up to you. So from here, the first, and these rows are going to be exactly the same. So we're going to start off with Tunisian reverse stitch. Let me get my yarn situation here. First of all, let me tie this together because I can already see that I'm going to get a little upset. Okay. Because reverse stitch is my least favorite stitch to do on camera, for one. So we're gonna, if you don't know how to do it, it's gonna be a little bit of a doozy to watch on this because it's got this yarn right here in the way. So this is your front bar that you would normally do Tunisian simple stitch in. When you're doing reverse stitch, you're gonna come behind that and insert your hook into the bar in the back. Yarn over and pull up a loop. And now that that situation is a little more under control, then we're just going to knit stitch in the next one. And back and forth, just like that. So knit, reverse, okay, so we have reached the point where we have our two middle stitches collected in our stitch marker. So whatever stitch you left off with, you're going to continue the stitch pattern as normal. Just so you're going to skip over those. Our last stitch was knit, so our next stitch will be reverse. Oh, gosh, why does reverse have to be so troubling on camera? It just irritates me. And then you just move your stitch marker up. And then continue your stitch pattern. So we left off with reverse, and now we're going to do knit, reverse, and so forth. And then Tunisian simple stitch in your end loops, okay? So for the return row, we're gonna do the return row exactly like we did the other one, except now our stitches are marked that we're going to just slide through. So let's continue our closing. Yarn over and pull through two loops. And then go ahead and continue to the end, bringing in your next color. If you are using a color change, which you probably will for this pattern because it's not going to show up that prominent if you just use one color. So I'll see you right back down here where we're going to start this row one more time. All right, so this is what your item should look like. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, and now we're ready to start the next row. So the really cool thing about this is that this is just a, one row repeat, which we all love. So, whoops. It's the only thing about, okay. Reverse stitch is that when something else is in the way, you have to kind of like move that stuff out of the way to get to the back bar. Okay, and then knit. And this is a fairly easy, quick stitch to work. There's just not a lot to it. Not a lot of, like yarn overs and skippings and all that stuff. So pretty simple. And we're right back down to the middle. So we're just going to keep our stitch pattern going. Don't deviate from the stitch pattern for this particular method and this stitch pattern. There are some that I've worked in this way, and you have to work them a different way, but this one you don't need to deviate. It's just going to be the same every time. And we're going to skip over our stitches. So we did reverse. The next one's going to be knit. And then just move your stitch marker up. And keep on going, you guys. All right, so close your row just like we did before, and just keep alternating your yarn colors for every row. And then I'll see you in just a few minutes when we are getting ready to close off our square. All right, look at our project. It is coming along really super nice, you guys. I love it. So let's just work a few more rows until we get up to the last few stitches where we're going to close off our square. So we're down to the last few loops, you guys. Let's work it. So I have a reverse stitch to do. I'm going to skip over those. I got a knit stitch to do. And then our end loops. And I'm just going to pull that out like that. Zoom in a little bit. And essentially our square is finished. So let's snip off our yarns here and tidy this up a little bit. And take that out, pull that. And so how you finish your corner is going to be up to you. I just do an invisible close, or sort of the invisible close method. So, and you want to make sure that, if you're making multiple squares, you do the same technique on each square. That way your item is consistent. And we are finished. Yippee! So let's take a look. Super cute. Oh my gosh. And I mean, you can use, multiple colors of yarns. You can just let your imagination go crazy with this stitch because it's so easy to work. And as you can see, the design is great. With more colors, it would just be even more striking. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video just as much as I loved making it for you. All right, you guys, happy crochet, and until next time, we'll chit chat in the near future.